Hello and welcome back to Football Index Moneyball with the next instalment in the Pick of the Day series. For today's pick, we've got a 25-year-old left winger who's coming off the back of a career best goals and assists return last season. In the video today, we're going to be looking at how his contract situation could lead to some potential media in the run-up to a possible move in either January or the summer transfer windows. How a move to one of the top teams with European football could help him to improve his already impressive career goals and assists record. We'll take a look at his stats from last season and how they could indicate huge PB potential, but a slow start this season left us with a good entry price. Then finally, we'll finish off with the profit target analysis using the multiple dividend return strategy to see the possible effects of a transfer speculation.
Just a reminder, if you do get any value or entertainment from the video and you want to help support the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are posted. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, then you can search @IndexMoneyball.
Now, I can't actually believe this, but I started making this video about 2-3 hours ago, and at the time I started making it, the player that I was going to pick today was £1.15, and that player is Ryan Fraser. And as you can see, in the last few minutes, there's actually been a story came out, and his price has rocketed to £1.42. Now, I'd pretty much done all the research, and I'd got all my stats and stuff together, so I think it's still worth making this video because even with this price rise, there's still a potential of over 100% profit, which is what I usually do as my marker for a potential pick of the day. So I'm going to keep going, and it's a bit of a shame that I couldn't give it to you at the price this morning as you would have all been able to get on. I've never been so disappointed to see a player I've bought go up so fast. So as I said, I've gone for Ryan Fraser at Bournemouth. Ryan's a 25-year-old Scottish left winger. He's in the last year of his contract, which led to a fair amount of transfer speculation linking him with a move to Arsenal last summer. That move didn't end up coming off, but he showed resistance to signing a new contract at Bournemouth, so as of January 1st he'll be eligible to negotiate with other clubs for a move on a free transfer in summer. In the last couple of weeks there's been links with Man United and Liverpool, and obviously today the Liverpool links have intensified a bit. My personal opinion is he's going to get a move in January, probably for a cut price fee, to a team with European football, which is one of the main reasons for picking Fraser. So I was going to go on to say that Fraser was actually at his 6-month low this morning of 1.15, and now he's actually just below his 6-month high. But if you stick with me, I'll show you the stats and the details, and trust me, there's still potential in that price. Hopefully there's going to be a little bit of a sell-off as people who've held him for a while cash in a bit. And I think even at his 6-month high, there's still a lot of potential there. So I've jumped over to Transfermarkt to take a look at Fraser's career stats. I'm going to take a look at his current and past season stats on FootMob in a minute as well. But for his overall career, we can see that he's played 233 games, scoring 33 goals and getting 40 assists. And that's a combined rate of 0.45 per 90. Now, one thing that I found interesting here is that when you take a look at the last 4 seasons in the Premier League only, he actually has a slightly higher average of 0.5 per 90. This is good for us to see as it shows he's capable of playing at a high level and he could actually be improving as he matures as a footballer. The other thing I wanted to look at here was Fraser's positional stats. So we can see that he's played in 8 different positions, which shows he's a versatile player. For me, this reinforces the fact that he might get a move in January, as the bigger clubs like versatile players due to the demands they have competing on multiple fronts in all different competitions and often going into the deeper rounds. And here we've come over to Fraser's FootMob, and you can see that so far this season, Ryan's managed just 1 goal and 2 assists in his 11 appearances. But the thing I wanted to look at is his numbers from last season, where he managed 7 goals and 14 assists. His assist total was only bettered by Eden Hazard last year, and considering he was playing at Bournemouth, who came 14th, scoring only 56 goals altogether, it's a pretty impressive tally, meaning he contributed 37% of their goals. For those of you who saw my Porto video, he had a similar impact on his past team, and I speculated that with better players around him this season, this could lead to a lot of PB potential. And it turned out to be true with him winning the Gold Day a couple of weeks ago. So I'm hoping for Fraser this could be the same if he gets a move to a big club. Now I wanted to dig into the numbers behind his performances from last season as well. And the first figure that catches my eye when I look at these is his key passes at 93. This is a huge figure which works out to around 2.6 per 90 minutes. That to me indicates that his total assists could have been even higher with a better team around him. And to back up his key passes, he also has 1.5 dribbles and just over 1 shot per 90. The only figure I'd like to have seen a bit higher was his total passes, where he averaged 34. But again, I think in a more dominant team, that figure would see a natural rise. So just before we get into the profit target analysis, I wanted to take a quick look at the master stats table on Football Index Edge. Ryan Fraser's already won some matchday dividends, and he also won some media with a 1p win over the summer. His average matchday score is not too impressive at 76, but I don't think you can read too much into that, as it's hard to have a high average in a team that finished 12th and 14th in the last 2 seasons, as you're going to be losing too many games. The promising stat that I wanted to point out was his max PB of 254, which was on the old matrix, and that's when he won his 4p in PB. This actually came at the back end of the 17-18 season, but I had a look through and he has a couple of good scores from the last season as well, where he came close to winning PB with 208 and 200. The reason I wanted to highlight this is that should he end up signing a new contract and we miss out on the potential media or improved PB from a big transfer, Fraser can still justify his current price off the back of his PB potential, which helps to limit our risk. Now for the profit target analysis this week, I had to go for a couple of older players and also for some central midfielders for my profit target. I prefer to normally compare apples to apples, but when you get to the more expensive players, there just aren't that many options to choose from. But I think that the players I picked can offer some good indication of potential price points still, and if anything, the older players can add a bit of a margin of safety to the potential profits. As I said earlier, for this pick, the main reason for buying being the potential media and future PB from a transfer, I've used the 3 dividend return scenario instead of an alternate purchase option. For my low target today, I went for Kerem Demirbay at Bayer Leverkusen. Demirbay is a centre mid and he's 26 years old. He's got a similar goals and assists record at 0.47 versus Fraser's 0.45. And he's playing in a team that's in Europe, which could be seen as his advantage. However, Leverkusen are at the bottom of the table in the Champions League group, so they're likely to only have 2 games left this season. And if Fraser was to get a move to a team that is playing in Europe and gets into the knockout rounds, then he could potentially have more games. So I don't really see this as justification for the difference in price, other than Fraser's slow start. For the mid, I went for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain at Liverpool. This is a good comparison for me, as Ox doesn't play every game, which might be the same situation for Fraser if he was to get a move. And now with today's news, it looks like it could potentially be to Liverpool. Ox has had a couple of good performances in the Champions League recently with a score of 254 and 316, including the 1.25 multiplier, and he also won some media dividends last week. But Ox has never won the PB, and if you remove his multiplier, he has a lower peak PB score and he has a lower PB average than Fraser, and as does Demirbay for that instance. Then for my high target, I have the only really close comparison in terms of age and position, and that's Marcel Sabitzer at RB Leipzig. Now, Sabitzer has a better goal and assist record at 0.57 per 90. However, he's playing in a pretty dominant team who scores tons of goals. So Fraser could potentially hit that figure with a move to a bigger club. The one thing is that Sabitzer's won 12p in PB dividends, which is 3 times more than Fraser. But with a new matrix, that could change with 1 PB win for Fraser. So I think there's a great top-end price target if Fraser can recapture the form that he had last season. For the 3 dividend scenarios, I went for just 1 IPD for scenario 1. This is a very conservative estimate, as Fraser has 2 games against Cyprus and Kazakhstan next week for Scotland, followed by 4 Prem games in the 30-day window. But as always, I like to keep these estimates pretty conservative to reduce the risk. Then for my second scenario, I went for 4p in PB from a Silver Day win with no media and 3p of IPDs. So this is my scenario thinking that if he stays at Bournemouth and signs a new contract, what he could potentially get. Then for my third scenario, I went for 3 media wins on match days, a gold PB win for top mid or a star man on Silver Day, and the same 3 IPDs. This is still pretty conservative if there was to be a drawn out transfer saga, considering his rise today from the Liverpool links on the 11th of November. If this was to rumble on through till January, I think 3 wins is still a pretty low estimate, and there's always the chance that he could win on a triple media day, which would make it 5p. So you could see that figure rise pretty significantly if this turned into, our ideal scenario of a drawn out transfer saga. And if another team was to enter the mix, for instance United, if they were to show some interest, then that could lead to even more speculation. So that leaves us with price target range of 8% for the low end of scenario 1 through to 117% for the high end of scenario 3. These figures were actually 33% and 167% when I started making the video. So it's pretty unfortunate that the rumours started at this exact time, but I'm hoping that people will still get some value from the research, and the potential profits are still actually big enough to make it still worth investing at the price he's at now. For me personally anyway. The one thing I will reiterate is that now the top end dividend scenario could even be eclipsed if the media speculation of the Liverpool move continues, which only adds to the reasoning for buying the player.
That's all we've got for you on today's pick. Again, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment and subscribe. Also, if you know someone else who might like the video, then sharing with them would really help me out. There are links in the description for signing up to Football Index and Football Index Edge if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel for more strategy videos and the other picks of the day. Most picks are long-term holds with depressed prices for some reason or other, so often the picks can still offer the same value, if not better, a few weeks after. And the research methods and reasoning can help if you're new to the index and want to learn to analyse your own players. Thanks for watching, good luck on the index.